Yesterday, I was sitting and I caught a little bit of mainstream television. From the corner of my eye, I saw something interesting. They made a piece about this cinema, this old cinema in the capital. It was one of the oldest cinemas in the country, and historically, you could say it's an interesting piece, but they don't care about nostalgia. They are thinking about removing the cinema and replacing it with apartments. And I thought to myself, isn't this, the reality of mainstream cinema? It's an old relic. Everybody's forgotten about it and it's been replaced by something else. And I start thinking to myself, going to the cinema some 20 plus years ago was actually a very, you know, good experience. Everybody wanted to experience this ritual, this ceremony, especially with their friends or loved ones. You would go with some popcorn and you would watch a film. Um, you would go for dinner before or after the film, grab a bite to eat, and um, you call it a day. Well, nowadays, people don't do that anymore. Their attention has been hijacked by something else. But I think people deep down still, crave the cinema. They would still go to the cinema if there was actually something interesting to watch. 20 plus years ago, they decided to invest everything they had into these adaptations, adapting comics and stuff. Uh, you could, make a profit out of it. You just uh, tapping into the nostalgia, of comic readers, of course, and the new audience, obviously, because it's full of action and certainly there's a mythology behind it, and um, they were and are, hero figures. Um, but of course, this is a one-time thing, you see. But they've been spanking this dead horse for 20 plus years. What ought to be a one time experience, and they should have invested in new material, original material, to adapt to the cinema. So new writers, directors ought to be, helped and invested on. No, instead they just kept recycling and recycling these materials and redoing old pieces. And people was like, it's nothing but the same about the same and the story about the same, and not to forget the political issues that they started implementing politics, even more. I mean, it used to have politics, to be honest. There was some politics involved, you know, in this medium, but it was bearable, I suppose. But in these past 20 years, it went, into hyperdrive, quote unquote. They really, put a lot of politics, and everybody hates this because politics are evil. Politics divide and seek control. So they hijacked, this moment of leisure. People used to kick their, shoes and sit on the couch, and they would be like, I'm gonna grab something to eat because I'm tired and I want to. I'm gonna put one of my favorite films. They would grab a DVD, and just put it on, or two. Who knows? But now even DVDs are gone. One of the main, highest grossing was DVDs. A lot of, in the past, a lot of films bombed. You know, it just wasn't, the good time or the good market. But then they became cult, films because of the DVDs. You see. But bad business decisions, they want to put everything behind a digital paywall with codes, and you don't own anything at the end of the day. You're just a renter. And this is bad business model. I'm sorry. Now cinema is almost gone. It's just the dinosaurs that still produce anything. Yeah, dinosaurs, these old directors that own, studios and stuff. They own the brands, the everything. They can create from scratch and distribute whatever they want. But even these dinosaurs, are going away soon. So now these imbeciles, instead of self-reflect and actually use, logic, no, they, in a cognitive dissonant way, blame the internet. Say, oh, it's the fault of the internet, piracy, copyright issues. It's the fault of social media. These guys and girls, they do these hit pieces. They do these critical things. They are the ones who are, steering the audience away from us. No, it's not. You did this to yourself. You know, bad decisions. Now they are, passing the laws to mess up with platforms that are visual, more visual than audio. So all platforms, including this one. Um, I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be similar to the ad apocalypse some 10 years ago when they did the ad apocalypse. All the cool people of this platform just left because they just didn't want to deal with bureaucracy. They're like, oh, I'm just gonna leave. And all of these platforms that are, very visual are gonna become mediocre in the near future. Mediocre. So the truth, the truth sets people free. People want good, truthful, meaningful, you know, art. They don't want bullshit. The reason the industry is bad at the moment is because they did bad investment, bad business model. It's nothing to do with the internet or the platforms. Nothing. They ought to return to a more analog, bring back the glory of cinema, and of course, DVD or Blu-ray or whatever. Having a hard copy of things, it's people. We have to have something to hold in our hands. It's very, human thing to. It's a very human thing. If you take that away, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. So, all right, I think I'm going to shut up. Tell me what you guys think. Have a nice day.